welcome back to the podcast. So, most of us who are sailing on board, we grow up in the ranks thinking if you want to transition ashore, you either need to become a master mariner or at least a chief officer with a certain number of years at sea. And then only you can think of moving ashore. But our today's guest is someone who proved that wrong. Divyang Mohite started his career as we all do, and he became a navigating officer. And then, during the time he was a second mate, he made a bold decision of moving ashore. And his career was not just ashore, he also built a career up. So, he started his career in Australia, and then later on, he moved to Canada, where he is leading the marine operations for SGS. He also holds a master's in logistics and supply chain management from Melbourne, and his journey is a proof that you don't need to become a master mariner or chief officer to succeed ashore. You can reinvent yourself through education, adaptability, and persistence. So, in this conversation, what we are trying to explore is how mariners can move abroad, what opportunities lie for mariners, and how to build a fulfilling career ashore and without having become a master mariner or a chief officer. So, welcome, Divyan. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be a part of this. Looking forward for a good, insightful, and informative
Yeah.
session.
Yes. So before anything begins, we always go to the beginning. How did you decide to join Merchant Navy and what gave you the motivation to join Merchant Navy?
So after 12th, I got a chance to attend a seminar in which the same eligibility criteria, the 60 PCM and this thing, physical fitness, eyesight, everything. He just said that my family also said that if you want, you can consider this line. They are pretty open to whatever I like to do, I can do like that. So I considered this line of work and then gave just the physical fitness and this very initial one and just filled a form. So they said, yeah, you are eligible as per DG rules, the basic ones. And then that's how I that's how the journey began. So then started looking for colleges, got a college in Chennai. It was International Maritime Academy. They were not having approval at that time. So they then transferred us to Wells Academy of Maritime Studies, which was that time in Pallavaram in Chennai. A legend captain Vivekanand led the show over there. All the operations, everything, training. It was pretty strict and very nice training was imparted. So that's how I took the pre-C. And also one of my close brother, like cousin brother, is a captain. I used to talk to him, and he used to also tell about the positive and the negative aspects of it, just to get a holistic idea, like a whole idea of how it is, in a very crisp and very concise manner. Because at land, he never used to talk a lot about merchant navy and sailing because he used to be on his vacation. So we used to talk like time to time. But I developed interest from there. That was the seed, I would say, and then picked up interest. Signed up for the course, nautical science BSc. Did well. In fact, the first 2 semesters I was in the top three. So I slowly, gradually developed momentum, interest in this. So that's how it happened. And after pre-C training, then I got, during that time, it was like, not that time, always it's a crunch for cadets because they are pre-C cadets and they have never been on the ship, except for just the couple of ship visits which we do during the pre-C. So like that's how it happened. Like, but out of, I would say, coincidence or my luck, I got offer from two companies. One was Tom and Nord Tankers. So I took the Nord Tankers. They were giving a chemical tanker, IMO type 2. So that's how I started my sailing as a deck cadet. Did my 12 months, and that's where it started. Like that was the initial phase of the career.
Okay, so what I can understand is you are a BSc cadet because you said 12 months as your sea time. So then, how were these 12 months sailing as a cadet on board non-tanker ships? And how was the life overall for you then?
I experienced seasickness as well. So first month went into that, like adjusting physically over there and mentally as well. Mental takes time, but physically initial 2-3 weeks you take. So experienced a lot of seasickness because it was like sailing from Singapore was my first port, like the joining port, sign-on port, and then from there we went to Durban. So the trans Indian Ocean. So It was around, I don't know how many days, but it was adjusting in that, and then started going on the deck. All the officers were pretty cooperative. They were all European, and I was the only Indian on board, and crew was from Philippines. So officers gave me a lot of books to read, a lot of instruction manuals, and then they also said just have some fresh air, go on the deck time to time, work with anyone. And then during that cadetship, they were pretty relaxed on that part. Like learning is there, but you can also come on the bridge, and like from day one. Because I heard stories like during cadetships, many people don't get a chance to go to the bridge for first 6 months. But from day one, I was going, keeping watches, this, that. Then also working on the deck. 3 months, I was with third officer initially, then 3 months with second officer, then 6 months with chief officer. So that's how it happened. All paperwork, everything was good. I really appreciate the European officers, like the European culture on board. It was pretty good. They are pretty relaxed. They take care of each other, respect the timelines, the work hours, rest hours. Everything is was pretty good, except for like tight port of calls when she was coasting around Brazil coast, like every week, like 2 3 ports. That time we used to be very busy, so I used to assist in paperwork and also on the deck. So it was pretty a good, enriching and empowering experience, like what it takes to become an officer. I would say cadetship is more important than pre-sea training. That's what I highly recommend. Like cadetship should be full of work.
Yeah, that's very true. And so, as you mentioned that you were sailing with very good set of officers, then the story continues. You gave your exams, you cleared your second mates, then you continued with the same company. Then later on, what came in your mind that you decided not to pursue and move ahead to a chief officer or master's rank and leave sailing at a second mate's rank? Was this feeling something which came from day one, or it was slowly building up as you progressed further in your career?
So the feeling, if we talk about, was from the initial, even I would say like from the pre-sea training phase. Like I wanted to sail for a few years, good, build a good corpus. And chemical tankers, the salary is pretty good. Now, even now it is good. It catches up, you can beat the inflation. It's like that good. So wanted to do like a good amount of years so that I can collect and then study more. But I had not planned it like a certain, like it's carved on stone, like that is the point of exit. It was pretty random. Like I had not decided as per the dates, but it was like I want to just gain like 4 to 6 years and then study ashore, go to some university and do also further transport and logistics, learn, like study and explore what more it is in the maritime supply chains. And then it also happened that 2016 I got offer scholarship, so that reinforced, like supported my decision. That gave me an exit, like okay, now is the time, because they are offering me like scholarship, the university, and it was pretty good. Like it was like 25% of the entire fee because of the SOP. And like SOP is the statement of purpose for the viewers, and the degree, nautical science degree. So that helped me, that supported my decision financially, mentally, everything. And then I took the call and just booked the tickets, and went to Australia to study. That time also I was like, okay, I'll not say that this is the exit, but let's study for now. Now that I have the offer and the scholarship, let's study. And then things started joining, like the dots started connecting. Like after that, in Brisbane, I got the job offer from Schenker, Australia. And then that's how it started, the land journey, the land side of journey. And that was the transition. Once you do a master's degree, it is, I personally believe, it is no point to go back to the ship, because the ship runs on a different kind of mindset, different skill set, different education qualification. So you don't need that to, like the management's, you need a management, but it is a different kind of management. Office management, which your MBA and masters in logistics will bring, that is not required at all on the ship. So I hardly think that after doing like study, people won't go back to the ship. So that's how I decided my exit, and that particular offer letter from RMIT because they are pretty good in the logistics and supply chain aspect. Their masters holds a good value globally. So that was also a good push for me to plan my exit.
Okay, so as you said that you were applying to, you got a scholarship, but then were you very decisive of choosing Australia as the location, or were you decisive of choosing the colleges? How did you apply to this college? The like, let's say many people who are thinking of moving ashore and they start looking into colleges, it is usually towards a specific geography they want to look into. So was Australia something you wanted to move, or was it just because the college is very good and you thought of the institute itself? Why did you choose Australia?
So I had three options at that time. Ireland, no, actually four: Ireland, UK, Canada, and Australia. US was like beyond my budget. That's why, and Australia gave me the scholarship. I compared also all the subjects, their mode of delivery, their the weightage of that degree, and like 4 to 5 solid aspects. I compared everything, what other countries' universities are offering and what Australia is offering. So I was not headstrong for Australia, but also open to UK and Ireland. But in UK, it was a 1 year course, and I wanted like to be open, like keep my profile open to all the countries, where wherever they accept like a 2 years post graduation is accepted. That's what I wanted. Like 2 years post graduation is accepted globally, like across the world. So that's what I wanted actually from the higher education. So, and Australia had it. UK was offering, a lot of universities were offering 1 year course because that was a BSc degree. So for BSc degree to have a master's, like they see some criteria, like how much education is already attained to be able to study masters. So BSc was a good fit in Australian landscape, educational landscape, I would say. And in UK, it was suitable for a 1 year degree. So that's something I didn't want it. Although Australia was costlier because obviously it was 2 years. So I wanted a full, proper, on campus 2 year master's degree. So that's why I was left with this option, and they also then offered a scholarship. They recognized the previous study and achievements. So that's that. Then I decided, and it was pretty clear to decide, and then just signed up with. There were many universities in Australia: Monash, University of Melbourne, RMIT. But the master's degree in logistics from RMIT, that program, particular program at City campus, is School of Business. That is very good. They
Okay.
are doing pretty good.
So then coming from a maritime background where you have for 3 years studied maritime subjects, it's mostly towards maritime operations on board. Even the kind of study that we do in merchant navy, your BSc nautical science, is more focused towards maritime operations on board a ship, how to conduct them. You are never taught more about the global aspect and the global perspective you have. So the degree is very focused to just a onboard segment. Was it difficult for you to now coming into a full masters where you are for 2 years going to make different subjects, new approach, and especially coming from India where the approach is very different, and that too in India we are coming from a maritime background where the academics is not, I would not say that it's very very education focused. It's more towards the operations and how to build you an officer. So was it very difficult for you to transition to this segment of studies? What were the challenges you faced, and how can someone who is thinking of moving and doing a masters can avoid all the mistakes that you think you would have made?
I would like to share with the viewers, like specifically this part, that language, command on language helps a lot in like abroad when you go overseas to study, because lot of like everything is in English. So that helped me a lot, like because since my ninth class itself, I used to just scroll and browse the dictionary to learn new words and use them, how to apply them appropriately. So that's how I developed interest. So that was a big support, and that I came to know during the course, like during when it started. First semester was tough, if you ask me. That was tough because they're like, what is referencing, what is bibliography, how to prepare an assignment, what they are expecting, what you are providing, what you are understanding, and what you are delivering. It was a mismatch, like first semester. But then we picked up pretty fast how what is expected in a team if you are attending a tutorial or like presenting, and if you are doing an individual assignment, what is expected, what kind of leadership they want you to inculcate. So that helped me a lot, like command on the language, and also to understand like the route, like just like what they want. But first semester was tough in terms of bibliography, referencing, assignments, what is the Turnitin software, how to submit them, what deadlines are. Deadline, okay, we know deadline is a time, but what do they expect? How to also manage your part-time work and study and household like normal, and friendship, socializing as well, because I used to network a lot. I always network a lot. Like I like to meet new people and exchange ideas and go for luncheons and all. So I used to do that as well. So juggling between these four aspects, that first semester taught me a lot. Like first semester was pretty like a learning curve, a steep learning curve. And then second semester it got easy. We got used to it. So that particular aspect of once a seafarer goes to any city abroad, they are pretty much coming from a limited vision. They like, I think commercial side of shipping everybody should learn, doesn't matter what rank, because they get to know like what we are doing on the ship, why we are doing, what is notice of readiness, why we are issuing on a certain time, why we are stopping the operations on a certain midnight on a certain date. So that's why it helps. And also going abroad broadens your vision, meet new people, cross cultural IQ, you develop a lot. So first semester was the toughest, and then second semester it got easy. So yeah.
I can understand that. But especially coming from a maritime background, it's usually little easier to adapt to new things rather than someone who is moving out from a country for the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But I think that would have really
The
helped you out.
food, the culture, you're already adjusted to changing
Yeah,
climates, already aware,
yeah,
well versed with the changing food, changing chief cook.
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But then looking into this, let's say I am someone who is thinking of doing a master's, and there are generally two things which come in mind when thinking of doing masters, or let's say the information which is available out there. It's either an MBA, which is the first choice given to most of the mariners, and then it is usually a supply chain or logistics course. And there are other MSc courses as well. And this is a question, which most of the people, think when they are thinking of, moving ashore. They don't know what kind of course they should choose, whether to choose an MSc, whether to choose an MBA. How can someone, like, what was your reason to not to choose an MBA and choose an MSc program? And if you can, or if you can tell someone that, what, if you're thinking about these two programs, this is the reason you should choose an MSc over MBA, or MBA would be a right fit if you are not this kind of person. So if you can just add to that.
So because I like diverted towards Australia, a lot of programs over there are masters. So masters is equivalent for MSc in Europe and UK. So like that's just a different thing. But masters in logistics and supply chain over there, one of my second mate did MSc in transportation, but the subjects we compared, we exchanged our ideas and books and assignments. It was pretty much same. So in Australia, a lot of people do masters. See, I have not seen like during that time, the tenure of 2016 to 2018, all the domains like your major and minor was awarded with masters, provided you do the all the 16 subjects over a period of 2 years on campus. You are provided a proper masters. So that's why when Australia comes in question, it's masters. And then MBA, why I didn't do, because of plain MBA, I didn't wanted to like go for that, because the business and accounting and the business acumen and whatever you develop, whatever degree you develop from study doesn't give everything, but you develop some amount of financial accounting, finances, and things like that. That was there in this syllabus and this curriculum in masters in logistics and supply chain. So I found that like to be sufficient, rather than studying like all that in general for 2 years and doing a plain MBA and studying nothing about ICS and Incoterms and supply chain case studies, disruptions, supply chain bottlenecks, and things like that. That would help us, like what happens in port operations. So all the subjects were well aligned with what I had done and what I wanted to do. So that's why I chose like a master's in logistics and supply chain, which is equal to MSc, but not the MBA, the typical MBA. So that's why I decided this one.
Yeah. Okay. But then do you think there is a certain kind of person who should pursue an MBA and certain kind of person who should pursue a MSc or let's say masters? In both the cases, it's the same thing at the end of the day. But who should pursue an MSc or masters, or who should go for an MBA in your case?
Certainly, like people who want to go into pure corporate, MBA still holds a lot of weight. So if you are a corporate man, like your reason for transitioning ashore was to work in an office, like a balanced 9 to 5 life, and then with family, and many people have that reason. Mine was different, like because I had decided I wanted to do for a few years. My batchmates from pre-C training are still sailing, so I had made up my mind. But some people want to work in the office, so for them I would still say that MBA is a good option. Masters in logistics opens like different gates, different positions for you, like logistics manager, chartering manager, vessel ops, vessel manager. MBA, you can go to commercial side more. The subjects will match, but somebody who has a knowledge, deep knowledge of business, somebody who is having a as a prerogative, if he's having a business mindset and they know what's the dollar value of things and everything that happens on board, what is happening and what's the dollar value associated to it. Those people should go for MBA if you are more into numbers and money making business, like because everything is money making, the bottom line is money, right? And many other things like sustainability and environment and all that. But one of the bottom lines is also to profitability for the company. So if you have that kind of mindset, people know by then, like if people are transitioning by second mate, they know what they are good at, so they should go for MBA. And if they want to go for a proper niche, like not leave the logistics and transport part of it, they should go for logistics and supply chain, who are not good at like calculations, mathematics, proactiveness, developing strategy. That MBA tells you a lot. Like the strategy, the thick books used to be there for MBA people. Because my roommate back then in Australia and Melbourne was a did MBA. Now he's having his own metallurgical, like 2 or 3 mills, and also furnace and factories and metallurgical business he is operating. So that helped him a lot to develop good relations, new clients, cross cultural intelligence. MBA gives you all that more, makes you more
Yeah.
global, especially if you are doing from overseas. And if you want
Yeah.
to excel in your domain, then logistics and supply chain, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I very well put that even today the maritime industry is not more focused on an MBA, they are more focused on specialized degrees. And if you want to do an MBA, that would be a good catalyst to either transition to a very corporate role, which is ideally in a different industry altogether. And if you are looking to stay in the maritime domain itself, I think a master's in this specialized thing would be more suited for you.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I can understand. And that's actually true as well.
Yeah, that's correct. MBA is not for all, I would say.
Yeah.
One should
Yeah.
know like what exactly is expected out of the MBA and what he will be able to deliver. And logistics and supply chain, because you are coming from a ship background, lot of things you have seen and experienced. That comparatively, that is a better fit for mariners to go for logistics and supply chain. But I have seen a lot of global directors and global like commercial leaders who have done MBA and are doing good, but they are good at different other things, like what market is happening, to understand what is happening in the market and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, very true. So let's get back to your life in Australia. So you moved there. You mentioned that first semester was a little tough for you, but then over the 2 years, how was it balancing your studies with the job which you were getting there and adapting to this culture? How did all fit in, especially for someone who is, let's here in this example, in these examples, let's keep into only a mariner who has moved ashore. What kind of challenges they are going to face when moving to a new country?
So I think it is better than sailing, I feel. I also discussed with all my sailing mates and all. I feel a lot for seafarers, not just feel. I do also. I also write and I also publish some of the stuff. But like I found my better fit, better place on this side of the shipping, like land side. And they are doing good, and I really wish them well, and I really feel for them. So when I transitioned to Australia, the life was, I found, easier than on board, even though I was juggling between a lot of things over there. So overall, the culture is pretty relaxed. They are good people, like good experiences we had during the university, like how companies expect you to deliver, and a lot of companies over there. There's even the part-time work. Everything starts early. Like by 7 o'clock, you are on your desk. So I also worked for some of the projects like assignments and alongside some leaders in some company and with the help of our professors while studying, just to get the feel of work readiness, like how to be work ready while studying. So that was a good aspect. I used to take part in those things a lot. And part time was just to pay the bills. I have seen people who just get involved in that because they see a solid currency and they want to make a lot of money while studying. I never compromised on studies. I gave weightage to study for the longer term, for the longer benefits. So part time was just to pay the bills. So only 2 4 hours in a day. I never asked for more. So that's how I was able to juggle. Then reading assignments, socializing in the university itself. I used to like being in the university campus, like meeting new people, doing assignments. So that when you start liking something, even though if it is tough for others, it is not tough for you anymore. So I really felt that those 2 years were pretty empowering, a good enrichment as compared to life on board. It's just the comparison. We are just having in context of that. Like in that aspect, I found the life better over there. You are on land and meeting new people on board with shrinking shore leaves and things like that. I could forecast that things will become very tough. Like what if you get a VLCC? And
Yeah.
when you want to socialize, when you are social, you have to look at options which are more fitting for you. So that way Australia was very good. Study part was, I could I finally got a distinction degree, so I did pretty well and also made a lot of friends. So the best part was cross cultural intelligence, like what we feel in our culture this happens and we develop stereotypes. Those all stereotypes were broken. When you go abroad, you adjust and you accommodate a lot. So that I could develop a lot, like working with different people. And then changing weathers, again a seafarer knows how to deal with that. So that was not a uphill task. And cooking, also learned some cooking during that time. So it was, I would say, busy but not tough. It was, busy is the term. It was it So that's why I didn't take my wife that time. I just went alone to study.
Okay, that's nice. But then let's say, you know, a lot of people want to move ashore. There are going to be many people who want to get a master's degree or have this option available for themselves. This is only possible if you have done right financial planning when you were a second mate or a third mate, and not indulge in a lot of impulse buying when you were at on board for 6 months 7 months. You have a lot of money and you come ashore and you start spending away, and by the time you are zero, you go back on board. To make this kind of decision, especially studying abroad, requires a good amount of money. So, is there some kind of financial advice which you would like to give to someone who is thinking or wants to have this option open to them?
This one would be for cadets who are young going on the ship. Start saving every dollar, every single dollar on the ship, every tank cleaning or whatever you are doing. If you are getting it, every extra dollar will count. And if you are like looking for 4 to 6 years of horizon, not so long, just look for short term horizon. 4 to 6 years would be a good time. Invest in SIPs, mutual funds, like not so high risk ones, so that by the time 4 to 6 years time passes, time will, like, it will pile up, it will increase the value. So invest in those instruments, and by the time you are at 5.5 or 6 year mark from the day you started your cadetship and on board, you will see a pretty good amount in your bank account. Like you can encash all that investment and go for study. But obviously, impulse buying, a big no. It digs a big hole in the pocket. And uh, foreign abroad, studying abroad also comes with opportunities to work, so you can pay your bills. But for study part, you should have a good 60, 70 lakh rupees. As per today, if I count the inflation, I didn't pay that much. I just paid like even 25% of the entire fee. That was discounted. So it was like 75 out of pocket, 75% out of pocket. So like if it was 50, I would say I paid like around 35, approx 35 to 37, and 12 and a half was from the scholarship. That all that in INR, I would say, like the so 37 lakh. That was back then, but now one should have 60 around. So if you are
Mhm.
sailing, make sure also go for tankers. If your company is giving you tankers, especially gas tankers, it speeds up very fast. The bank account fills up very fast for study. So because gas carriers are most sophisticated ones, top of the line. So go for that if you can, and just like collect. And then if you have that plan to study, if you really want to study and gain something out of your degree, so definitely first make sure you have that sufficient comfortable cushion behind you, including a 10% margin of, like, expenses. They just happen. You can't just rely on your part-time job. Sometimes some people don't get a part-time job. That is the reality while studying. So just make sure that much is there, and start from right from the cadet time. Don't give up. Like 4 to 6 years is a good time, and then you can go ahead. And then once you land abroad, then you can take it from there.
Yeah, very, very, very well put. Because what I've seen is a lot of people want to move ashore. They want to do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, they have bought a house, they have bought an expensive car,
Oh, yeah.
and the EMIs are going in, and they can't even do anything, because maybe their family is living in that house now, or maybe their family is using that car, and they cannot do anything like that. And it gets very difficult for you to now, the whole point being that build right assets which are going to pay you. Don't buy depreciating assets which you cannot use it. If you are buying a house very early, I think that would be a very big problem for you, because let's say tomorrow something happens and you are not able to sail, then you have such a big burden on you. And after 4 to 5 years of sailing, if you don't like sailing now, then in order to transition ashore, you will have a lot of problems, because the starting salaries would not be what you get on board. And eventually it grows ashore, but then to get into that perspective, you'll always feel, I'm getting so less, I cannot manage ashore. So that is always going to be a problem, I think. And it's very important to spend your money wisely when you are on board. So moving on from there, everything looks good. And then, were there any misconceptions which you felt, whenever anyone thinks of, I'm going to go to a new country, this is I think this is what the people would be like there, and this is what the kind of culture would be there, were there and this is what I would feel if I'm working there. Were there any misconceptions that got busted when you started working and living in Australia?
Misconceptions about the work culture. Like I thought that doing a job in Australia is not like a very big deal. It's not a big deal. You can do many things over there. You can have your own marine agency, port agency. There are many other things, because in job, if you go from a ship, you can do two such jobs in a day, because it's all like very much fixed, and people do this much like specific amount of work. But if you are going from a ship background, where the schedule is very tight and you are used to doing a lot of rigorous physical things and like operations on board, on the deck, and also keeping watches, you are having a good capacity of work. So that's why that was like a positive part. Like it was easier compared to sailing, so that was a positive misconception, I would say. I thought like, okay, it will be like a very big deal, but it is not like that. You can do a lot of better things over there once you land. uh, Getting a stable job will ensure that you are doing enough for the day. But there are people who can do more out of their time. And also, even in that job, if you want to excel more, then you have to learn more things,
Mhm.
better concepts and all that, then it
Mhm.
becomes significant, like a good amount
Okay.
of learning and good amount of work. If you are doing just a job and not a career, like if you are not
Yeah.
looking at your career but just a job, transition from ship to shore to just do a job is pretty easy. So that was a misconception, because in India, to do a job including the commute is tough. If you commute daily and do like 10 hours there, everything wraps up in like within 8 hours, and then you are back home, because work life balance. So that way it is
Yeah.
easy. That way it is pretty easy. That's why people sign up for all that, because there are
Okay.
also downsides sides of staying abroad: culture, climate, homesickness, all that. On the ship, you are in the ship life, you are at home for 6 months or 4 months,
Yeah.
5 months. But staying abroad, you are just here for, you come here just for 2 weeks. If you are that kind of person who likes to stay alongside your parents and, like, to keep up to date, to if you miss a lot of that part, then even abroad life is tough. So that was also a misconception. That aspect, once you start living there, then you understand that, okay, this also has downsides, like very limited circle, limited friends, because in India you inherit your circle and your relatives and friends from your parents. There you have to build from scratch. There you have to build your relations, your friends from scratch, which we did as well, both in both countries, Australia and Canada.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I would say that that's a misconception, that it's not
Yeah.
all a bed of roses.
Yes.
Second, the work culture, that's a positive part. You prepare for more, but it is not that much. The work is pretty limited. If you are doing
Okay.
one proper stable job, it's easy over there. Getting
Okay.
in is maybe tough for some people, maybe not. Some people just get through. And an 8-hour work job is easy compared to ship
Okay.
life. Like when you everything is like compared in what
Comparison.
context I'm saying, like when you comparing to ship life
Yeah.
as an officer.
Yeah. Okay. So then after you, as you mentioned, it is not easy for everyone to get in. So how was it for you to find a job after you graduated? Because it's a new country, you have just come there for education perspective only. But now to convince an employer that, you know what, you should be, how does that process work in Australia? Does someone has to sponsor you, or how tough was the, to get a job? Because you are a different nationality, they would always prefer to get someone from their own country, which is not a different, immigration process, and there are a lot of things which go in the background for a recruiter. So how difficult and challenging was it for you to find a job?
So, like, back then it was not that tough for me. In what aspect? I just applied via Indeed, like, and then got a call. They were looking for someone. So they say that if you are in the right place for the right time, you get it. So they were looking for somebody, and it was, I just applied and then got the call. The degree helped it. They could understand that okay, he has got some sense of Australian culture and work landscape and has finished a degree. So could easily find that particular role. So it was not that tough to look for a role. Once I passed out, I went to Brisbane, and there itself I got it, because I like the city of Brisbane. So because a lot of sun over there. So
Yeah.
compared to Melbourne is again,
Okay.
like you said, 3 to 4 weathers in one day. So different seasons. So that's why I like Brisbane. So I moved over there, applied just via app. They don't need to sponsor you. Once you do a study of 2 years, you get a work permit for 2 years, another 2 years. So I was having a work permit in hand. I was just looking for a role. They were looking for someone, and then they didn't have to sponsor.
Okay.
There was no any foundation or no bond or anything, just a proper normal role. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what was this role, and what all roles also did you do in Australia during your time in Australia?
So it was fleet manager, also other titles as operations analyst, operations coordinator, marine operations export coordinator, things like that, and freight forwarding roles related to that. So it was just like 2 3 roles. Move manager with Allied Pickfords, that was also to basically, you are given one proper consignment, you have to manage it with consignments belong to people who are moving out of Australia on work commitments. So Allied Pickfords does that. Like they have global contracts with different companies like Amazon, for example. So they just handle the move for people. So they were these kind of roles: freight forwarding, transport, logistics, fleet manager, fleet management. This kind of related to these domains.
Okay.
Learned a lot of softwares, lot of data and tech side of this line of work, which were non-existent on the ship. So that's that way it was pretty new learning experience. And obviously the office life, it's how it is and what is expected. It's all running the mill. Sometimes you feel like that, like just 9 to 5 every day. The ship life is not like that. Different ports, sign on, sign off. A sign off changes your life drastically because you are at home, but sign on changes again your life drastically. You are go to come back and you come back to go again. So things like that.
And also sign off other people on board also changes your life drastically, I think.
So yeah, that changes your life on board drastically. Yeah. So yeah, that way could take the feel of what 9 to 5 is, and land life, especially working first time in the office. So yeah.
Yeah. So, but the roles which you did, do you think your maritime experience was very helpful in, helping you stand out in these roles, or it was just the degree that you did helped you more?
Degree was comparatively less because degree is basically not just for these initial roles. That is for basically when you step up the ladder. That time it helps you a lot. What is expected, you go into more sophisticated things of it. More decision making, more leadership comes at a later stage. Sailing helped a lot, like again sailing with Europeans, cross cultural, having a good mix of people in the team. So that really helped. The sailing part was really helpful in that aspect. First 2 weeks I used to be just stay silent. Then I understood, okay, you have to talk to people and just get to know each other and just that. So sailing part helped a lot because in sailing you have different people coming on board, even in the
Yeah.
port and even during your contract. People sign on, sign off. So you know your boundaries. That helped to transition to a shore job in Australia. So that was really good.
Okay. But from your experience ashore, and especially in different countries as well, do you have any tips which you would like to give to any seafarer who's looking to, transition to their first shore job? That, what, if you're looking into transitioning to a shore based role, these things would help you a lot. As you have already mentioned, your command over language, that is one thing which would really help. Apart from that, the kind of attitude you need to, be, because the work culture ashore is different, on board is different. So what kind of mindset would help you in performing better ashore?
Adaptability, I think. Adaptability plus like learning and unlearning the things. Unlearning is really important. Like you have to unlearn what you used to do on the ship. People don't care what you do on the ship. Like, to be really honest, you are delivering your work, your role is different. You have a boss at shore, and so that's why it's really important to unlearn and absorb new things, way of doing work, new culture. That and communication, obviously. If you just don't have to absorb everything that comes your way. Sometimes people just take advantage of you, so you have to also learn to say no to certain things. So if things lot of things happen in the office culture. On board the ship, you are just your own replacement. Nobody will replace you. You have to do your stuff. So that's why, like, but in the office, somebody is sick, you are covering for somebody. Somebody will cover for you one day when you are sick. So things like that. But I think two things: you should know your boundaries, learn to say no as well to things if you are not comfortable or not finding appropriate.
Yeah.
These things don't happen on the ship much.
Yeah.
People don't
Yeah.
push things to you. They do their job, you do your job, finish your contract, go home. But in the office, it's different. And then obviously communication helps a lot. Having a good communication and good exchange with your boss, they also understand that the person is genuine and what he's raising or whatever he's putting forward is genuine thing. They you don't have to please some people, you just have to communicate. So communication is key, and then obviously adaptability as well. But don't just adapt to everything and anything that happens in the office. So, like, because that happens with the master, that also is one of the good things which is very relevant to this session. That don't just wait to become a master or chief officer, because by that time you will get very much used to your authoritarian kind of hierarchy and authoritarian decision making, because ship runs in a different way. It's master, like, runs it, manages it, supervises it. So in the office, it's not like that. Speak up policy, open door policy, these all things are in the office. They are not on the ship. Like, okay, you can, now people are reporting to DPA and all that, but overall you are reporting to the chain, really, like, leads up to master. DPA and all are in the office. So that's why, like, in your office setup, you should be able to adapt, but also know your boundaries, what you have to do, what you don't have to do, what you are not entitled to do.
Yeah.
And again, like, just have a good time,
Yeah.
communicate a lot with people, especially
Yes.
in a place like Australia, Norway, yourself, and also other people who may transition ashore watching this session. So communication would help you a lot. If somebody likes solitude and all that, I think they should continue sailing. Like, one part, I'm not deciding for them, but just one aspect of it. Like, if you like a solitude life, or don't like to talk much, or don't like to exchange ideas, brainstorm, or things like that, or like just one aspect of it, people may still transition and do very, very well. They may just do extremely well. But if ship life is more like you are having just 12 to 16 people and then you communicate with them,
Yeah.
but then in the office you have, phone is ringing all the time. Sometimes communication becomes a very important
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why.
Uh, Yeah. Like right said that if you are someone who wants a very structured life, wants to follow a set of instructions which is given, complete that, and you are done, then life on board is the right place for you. But if you are
Yeah,
someone who is open to uncertainty, you don't know what to do or how to take things forward, there is no written pathway of doing a task, then moving ashore would be the right thing, because on board ships the policies are very strictly made so that you follow this, so that nothing happens in the wrong direction and you do a safe operation. But ashore, you are the one who is going to build up all these things. You have to use your brain to and collaborate with different people. On board ship it's not like that. New ideas, there are new ideas, but those new ideas are onto different level of tasks and
correct.
different things, but it is
They
not.
have to be
And
approved by the management.
yeah.
Then the SOP will be made by the office. They will stick it on the alleyways, and then you have to follow that. So you can't just change things just like that. But in the office, your idea may be taken. If it is good, just
Yeah.
speak up. But
Yeah.
yeah, and like at sea, especially on the ship, the things are very routine. So it is not like, if you are somebody who is a lot into brainstorming, brings new ideas, is a out of the box thinker, that particular routine is not made for that. Like, you have to keep a navigational watch, you can't just think out of the box into that navigational watch. You have to follow a proper procedure and night orders and all that. So if
Yeah.
somebody is more creative and all that, more a good thinker, and comes up with very fresh ideas, innovative ideas, I think land life is better for those
Yeah.
people.
Yes, very, very true. So let's look back into your journey again. Did your masters, started a job in Australia, everything is going good. Then how come you decide of moving to Canada then? What came to your mind? Wasn't Australia the right place for you, or were there different reasons you thought of when deciding to move to Canada?
So in the year 2016 and 17, this Australia has this skilled occupation list, which they publish every year on 1st July. They still do. Now it is known as medium and long term strategic skilled occupation list. They have just made it long acronym, but the meaning stays the same. MLTSSL is something is like that. So in that, they publish the occupations that are in demand, that can apply for permanent residency in Australia. So after, like I mentioned, like, I got 2 years of post study work permit. By like 1 year into that work permit, I started looking for, like, how to apply for PR, because that's my last year now, the second year. So I started planning, looking around what is happening in the world. And that time, this express entry was a big, like all the gates were open that time. And it was doing that program, Federal Skilled Worker Program was doing very well.
Yeah. If you can just elaborate on what this express
In
system is. From what I understand, it is a point-based system. If you
point
have
based
these
system.
certain
Yeah.
number of, so you can just explain on elaborate on what exactly it
So,
is.
so that time in 2016 and 17, Australia, what happened was on the 1st July, by the time I was 2017, no, 2018 or 19, because 2018 I finished my degree, and 2019 for around July, I saw that like, let's wait for the list, what they will publish, what's in demand. If the ship's officer occupation is in demand, I will apply for PR and I will continue here. But on that 1st July, unfortunately, they removed that occupation. So that's why it happened. Like otherwise, I would have applied. So, but by then I was prepared with all my police clearances, all the checks, all the documents, IELTS examination, everything was done. But that didn't happen. So one gate was closed, but the other one got opened. So Federal Skilled Worker Program Express Entry migrate to Canada. That program was running, up and running actually that time. And it's a point based program in which they mark you, they score you on basis of your age, English, education, and experience. So I could collect all my experience letters, did my education. This degree was pretty much very easily to verify, because there's this some system is there, my equals, and that is qualification, they call it as quals, because Australians have a habit of shortening, like giving a short form to everything. So that's why it is known as my equals. On that, you just have to share the link with Immigration Canada, and then they are able to verify that your degree is valid and genuine, not some fraud or something. So they could verify, and they gave me straight away 135 points on that. My experience letters added up. I gave the IELTS again. Everything added up. My CRS score, that score ranking, that score was good. So I got the invite. So I said, now that the invite is there, let's apply,
Okay.
because here the occupation has been removed. Let's apply and let's see. So I applied, and then I had another 1 year to wait in Australia. Not to wait, like just to work and see if we get Canada PR. By the end of
Okay.
by the end of second year, it came through, and
Okay.
got the PR. So sent my passport, got the sticker, like the stamping, and then we were supposed to land to Canada. So after Australian work permit got finished, we went to India for a vacation, and then went to Canada. So that's how it happened. It got
Okay.
well aligned. By the end of this visa, got that visa.
Yeah, that's very things align very good. But then before we move to Canada, I just want to understand and help others also know. Australia is a very, let's say most of the ships go to Australia. Anyone who has sailed, they will once in their life at least they will go to Australia, and there will be some people on board coming there. You know what? Australia is a very nice place. He is also Indian or from their nationality of Southeast Asia, and they'll say, I came here in this year and I started with this. I was a junior officer or whatever, and now I'm doing this. And then people think of moving to Australia. Oh, it's very easy to move to Australia. That was earlier, but then for seafarer at this point of time, if you are in touch with the system over there, can you advise someone, if someone who is a seafarer right now on board a ship, is it the right time to move to Australia first of all? And if yes, what all are the pathways they can look into apart from, let's say, we'll remove the masters right now. Apart from that, is there anything they can just, as you said, there is a point based system they can apply, or what is the pathway to move to Australia for a seafarer only already?
So yeah, for a seafarer, it is a good time to go to Australia right now. As far as you are having a master's ticket, like as a sailing as a captain, because the ship's officer occupation is still not introduced again, like it has not been included again in the list. So it is still out of the list. So ship's officer means chief officer to third officer and second officer. Nobody can migrate on a PR. Like sitting at home in India, if you want a PR, don't want to study, like we discussed, like you just mentioned. If you want a permanent residence and want a proper long-term solution to migrate to Australia. Ships officers can't still migrate because that occupation is not there. Captain, like being a captain, that occupation is there. It's a separate occupation over there. Ship's master, and that is included in the list. That's also in the state list. And the state list means you have to migrate to that particular state in Australia, stay over there for 2 years, and then you can go anywhere in Australia, like move internally anywhere in Australia. That's one requirement. So even in the state list, it's there, that shipmaster occupation. That captains can still go to Australia. It's a good time. No need to spend on study. They can just go move on a PR and then start
Okay.
working over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of
But
the
let's say,
people I know, he's SGS surveyor over there in
okay.
Port Hedland, West Australia.
Okay. Okay. So let's say, because many people also think of getting a mates or masters COC from Australia. Initially, I think that this was a route which people would take. They would do their mates, because I think there in Australia it's a single course, not two different courses which you have. If you are aware of this, is doing mates and masters also the right approach, where you can do mates and masters in Australia and then get a advanced diploma or get an MBA? Because I think there are some things which are interlinked in Australia, where you do a mates and masters, and then you can also apply for, with that 1 year program, for a MBA in Australia. Is that also a route, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, that's the route. Many people go halfway. They just go clear their mates and they do their masters and then apply for a PR. Yeah. Because then it's up to you if you want to study. And also, once you become a permanent resident, fees is very low comparatively,
Yeah.
like significantly low for localites, because you become a
Okay.
local person over there. You are
Okay.
not an international student anymore. You are a permanent
Yeah.
resident. So
Yeah.
your fee structure is way less, like almost half of what an international student would pay.
Yeah.
So depends on what visa you have. If you have a
Yeah.
student visa, you are international student.
Yeah.
No matter, even if you are a master on the ship in Australia, you are
Yeah.
just a student. So you will pay 100% fees. But if you get a
Okay.
PR, you can study at 50%
Okay.
of the fee. So many people do that, like they prioritize PR and get a study.
Okay.
Don't do. They just apply for a job and start working. They don't study. They don't even pay
Okay.
that 50%. So PR is really important.
Yeah.
So masters still have an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I can
Okay.
guide
Okay.
more, like if somebody after
Yeah.
watching this one, like
Yeah.
how to go about it. I have like done all that in-depth research, like latest research, like what state is giving what kind of visa and to captains and ship masters, everything like that, and how to apply and what is the cutoff for each state, and which state what you can expect. Like Northern Territory is also looking for masters, so
Okay.
what kind of state it is and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's very nice. So that still, seafarers have some options to go to Australia. But then moving on from there, you completed the chapter of Australia, got your PR for Canada. But then, how did you find a job in Canada then? Did you find the job while you were in Australia, or when you got your PR, after that you came to Canada and then started looking for jobs, or it was in between? Or how did that happen then?
So it was like got the PR, we went there to Canada, and then started looking and applying for the job. Within 2.5 months, got the job with SGS. So that's how it happened. And again, like without any agency or without any bond or sponsorship from the employer, was having a permanent residence visa. So that's why I just applied and mentioned at the bottom of the CV that having a proper long term, like a lifetime visa, citizen, like permanent residence. So then
Okay.
applied for this role and then got it.
Okay. Then that really. So you started working with SGS, which most of the seafarers know it as a surveying company, cargo surveying company, and that. So, what role did you start at as in Canada then?
It's mentioned marine operations expert. Like that's the one. So it they do a lot of things. This particular role is just like a hybrid of field and office both. So you also go for assignments on the ships, do surveys, inspections, due diligence, make reports. You should know who you are representing, bunker survey, on hire, off hire, dry docks. they do a lot of like a variety, a range of things. And in the office, you are busy with meetings, calls, dispatch, managing team of surveyors, like 2 to 3 marine surveyors, managing port of calls, proper fleet of ships, their port of calls, which ship needs what commodity they are loading, things like that. You should have a tenacity on those kind of details. In that particular role, attention to detail is really important. Something pretty much that would be required. And it's a 24/7 operation. Obviously, ships don't stop, so SGS Marine doesn't stop. They are in line with whatever ships are doing, because their
Okay.
whole revenue comes from the ships. So that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but then what generally is seen that for these kind of roles, especially with surveying and all these roles, many places prefer you to be a chief officer, master mariner, or a chief engineer, or mostly a senior rank holder on board a ship. Was this also a prerequisite in your role? Were there any, did you have to face any challenges when transitioning into this kind of role, or it was pretty simple for you to continue with this role in India, in
It
Canada?
was,
Sorry.
yeah, it was, again, it was not a requisite, but it was a preference in the job description. So that's why I said, like, let's apply. It's just preference, and if you can do what they need, then the ship rank doesn't matter. So that was the train of thought behind applying that role. Obviously, if a master applies, they have then different kind of questions in mind, that will he stay in this role, or will he is he not overqualified for this kind of role, or like what's the age of the master again. So yeah, and are they okay with going on the field and in the office both? Because by the times, not all masters, but some of the masters don't prefer field job, they just like office job. So it really depends. They have that kind of questions, so which is like, they have those kind of doubts. So you get the benefit of doubt. Being a
Okay.
junior officer, you are
Yeah.
preferred. But
Okay.
obviously seniors are also preferred, but it is not like a requisite, like it's not like a 100% requisite in that
Okay.
particular role. Yeah.
Okay. So since then, I think you have been with SGS itself here since you moved to Canada. So let's now look into the avenues a seafarer, especially a seafarer, can think of, moving abroad and getting those jobs and how to target those jobs. Because as you mentioned, you first got the PR and then you went and searched for a job. Is it possible to find a job from India itself, or do you have to go to that country with the PR and then start searching for a job? Or getting an education would be the right approach? So, what would be the best approach for someone who is a junior officer at this point of time to relocate to these countries?
So definitely, number one would be get a PR. If you are getting it, which people are not getting now, so don't at all take it for granted. If you are getting it, just take it. Even if I would say, even if you don't want to go, if you are getting it, if you are eligible, just take it, because it just cost you like $2,500. And once you have it, then think about work or study or applying for jobs and all that, because like the demand for that PR like went up, shooted up exponentially after all that. So then the program got like overloaded with candidates and applications, so their cutoff went up automatically, because many good profiles are applying, many good candidates are applying with PhD and good IELTS English score and all that. So obviously, when you are competing with somebody, a young PhD holder, you are
Yeah.
not competing basically anymore. They get a chance, and the cutoff is already high. My time, the cutoff was 470 and above. Now it is
Okay.
510 and above. So lot of, you have to be really young, you have to be really educated, like highly educated, then you will qualify. So that PR has become tough. So my first point would be, as a suggestion, if you are getting it, if you have some French, let's say they also consider French as like a points system in their point
Okay.
system. So if you have like a dual language proficiency, English and French, definitely go for that. language would give you a good score, a good boost. You have got a good degree, you are young, and you have got good experience of 4, 6 years sailing experience. Even foreign work experience gives you 50 additional points, which I got, because international water sailing is considered as foreign going. So that's what it gives you, another 50 points. So that's how it all adds up. And if you are getting a PR, get a PR. The second
Hmm.
step, proper sequence would be get a PR. Second would be then look for jobs.
Okay.
If you are getting it from India, many people get it. Like they just take a phone number or like Canadian number and they start applying. They talk to managers or companies, and
Hmm.
like, this is what I do, and what kind of roles are there, and this that.
Okay.
Find your fit, get a job, and then side by side there are a lot of programs to study, distance study on the weekends, and over a period of time you complete your masters if you have to, or do your ICS is also there in Canada. Get that if you want to go into operation and commercial side. So that would be the step. Like, three step would be PR, then work, secure your work, and then study if you have to, if you really want
Okay.
to. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've also seen that many people transition into the British Columbia ferries, which I've seen, which is they go from here, they get their COC renewed, not renewed, but get it
They
converted
give the
to,
exam, the oral
yes,
exam.
yes, they give the oral exam depending on what rank you are coming from, and then they get promoted to. And because what I have heard is that these ferries operate on a, let's say, a 8 to 3 kind of a routine, or basically it's like a 9 to 5 job where you go to the ferry in the morning and in the evening you are back home, and it's 2 week or 21 days, or some days working a month, and then you are off for the next so many days, and you get decent paid compared
Decent
to
paid.
other jobs.
Yeah. Decent paid, and it's pretty good, not so hectic. Lot of travel. You may have to stay up in the hotels depending on
Okay.
what route you are, because your route
Yeah.
would not make sure where your home is. It is, it doesn't consider your home may be on the mainland, but you may stay on the island. For
Okay.
there are a lot of islands in British Columbia,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Okay.
near British Columbia. So you,
Yeah.
depending on what route you are, you
Yeah.
may be away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a lot of people go renew their this thing, and but they are all PR. They take the PR first, then they move over there. They are convert their COC, and then they look for apply for that, and then also study. Some of them study also, or some of them just
Yeah.
sail with the ferries because it's a government job. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of
Because
Indians over there. Yeah.
yeah, because I had a master on board a ship who, after sailing, he was in his early 30s, so he transitioned, got a job he got a PR when he joined my ship, the ship which I was on, made some money, and then after he completed his contract, he moved to Canada, started with this job, and then he transitioned to a, I think, survey manager, or like he was managing some surveys like that. He was working for them. But then looking into this, what is the actual situation of living abroad, especially in Australia and Canada? How are things at present? Because we hear a lot of things going on, and that's why I ask: is it really the right time for someone to, because this will be a completely new thing for you, especially a seafarer, and it will be a completely new territory. Because I had a friend who started sailing, went to Canada, stayed there for 3 months, and said, you know what, this is not for me. I cannot work a part-time job because it's not what I am. I am an officer on board a ship, and it is not working for me. And all these things come in because at different stages of your life, you don't want to compromise with different things. Life throws you different challenges, especially when you are moving abroad.
Yeah.
It may be housing, rent, your transportation. You have to get your driver's license from scratch. You need to take all the lessons, clear your exam, and then all these things come in picture. So how is the situation for all these things now?
Right now, Australia, one can go, but obviously without PR, it's just don't go for the work permit. That's the IT thing to do. Like, IT people do that a lot. The industry is small over there. Marine industry is not so big. So get a proper PR first. And driving
It is
license,
the
driving is
opposite.
a big thing
Yeah,
actually in
this
Australia. Like,
Sorry to cut you off, but it is the opposite of what people think, that Australia is such a big country and we are visiting Australia such frequently. So the maritime industry is very vast over there. So it's a very, very big myth buster that it is a very small maritime industry over
Yeah,
there.
it's small. A lot of it is just empty land, like unfertile land. Half of it is West Australia, one state, and the entire state has one big city, Perth, which is equal to Nagpur. So that's how it is. Like it's not that big. The entire state is full of empty land. So it looks big, but the industry is small. Not like IT, like booming and still booming. So it's not like that. You go take a PR, go there, get your license. Don't get involved in some of the disturbing elements and activities over there. Interracial, ethnicity, whatever clashes happen. It happens with every country. Try to know their culture, respect their culture. They are good people. They will respect you. And
Yeah.
if not respect, they will not bother you.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So Australia is good as far as that is concerned. Obviously, driving is a good to have. So must have actually. So get your license. In Canada, what helped me a lot is I was having Australian license already, so I could convert it like without any test to Canadian. Just go and convert. So I could convert again. Driving ability is a must have for these kind of jobs. Okay, IT doesn't need all that, but this one needs. And Canada is far from India. There are different people who are more connected, who come to land from ship for staying close to family because they want to transition. So then definitely think that if you really want to go abroad or not, because you are then you will be not coming to India for like whatever time you are coming now as a sailor. You are coming for 4 months, 5 months. You won't be coming for that much anymore. You will just come for 2 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and that too like
Also,
not every year, because
yeah.
sometimes
Also,
some year you will have you won't just use consume all your vacation every year for India trip.
yeah.
So one should think about that
Yeah.
before taking that call. It's a big thing. It looks like small, but it's a big thing. If you want to be close to your roots and all that, both the countries are far away. Culture is different. So, like for ship, people should have that kind of attributes like staying by themselves and keeping up to themselves, and that's the place for them. Similarly, going abroad is a thing for people who are okay to uproot themselves from their roots. So to go away and your everything, festival, culture, family, everything changes. So just it's a change. It's not something. Everything can't be judged by the lens of good or bad. It's just like it's just a change. So accept, if you are okay to accept. Some people absorb it very well. So I would say Australia also has a Indian friendly climate.
Yeah.
Canada, it's a bit of adjustment, bit of uphill again environment for you, especially going from a tropical country like India. If you are going there, it's different, cold. So that's a major change, adjustment
Yeah.
for you. It's very cold. November, December, it's very cold, and life is becomes gloomy.
Yeah.
You are indoors all the time. Australia on the other hand is right at that time, November, December. People are on the beaches and it's all sunny and a lot of hustle bustle, a lot of noise. Christmas time is sunny over there. In Canada
Yeah.
it's different. Christmas time is all winter and everybody's inside, just dull.
Yeah.
4 o'clock night time, 4 p.m. it becomes dark over there. So
Yeah.
same like Norway, I think so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, climate wise
So,
I would say Australia is better than Canada. Canada has got comparatively more adjustments as compared to Australia for an Indian family. If they go to Australia, they have to Canada. Sorry, they have to adjust with climate and culture different. The distance is a lot. You pay a lot of like $5,000 $6,000 just for one trip with your
yeah.
spouse.
Yeah.
And BC ferries, if it is not there, if you just minus the BC ferry, the industry is small and
Yeah.
not like good roles, very few, and roles which need only naval architect plus MBA. So and like ICS and all that, all kinds of titles you should have, then you have some kind of jobs. Otherwise the industry is fairly small, not like Dubai or Singapore, who are known as maritime heavyweights,
Yeah.
like they have place for everyone. Not like that.
Yeah. Yeah. At the same time, it is, what people generally don't realize, that it is not for everyone. People who transitioned or moved in the earlier years, I would not say they were lucky, but I would say in a way that they were at the right time. It is, I don't think it is the right time for seafarers because the opportunities are very less. And when someone has already got a job in such a country, it is highly unlikely that they will leave the job
Yeah.
unless they get something much better, and which is the kind of roles are very less. If then it is very difficult for you to find a new job. And when you, what I think it is that, manage your expectations, right? Come with the right expectations and do your ground research very thoroughly before thinking of even making this decision, because there are a lot of things which go in the back. You have to find a job for you, which is first a big challenge. Then if you have a spouse, then your spouse needs to find a job. And
Yeah.
if they don't find a job, then it gets very difficult, because in this you can manage with one person earning as well, but then the kind of lifestyle you get, the reason for moving abroad is very different. So you need to factor in that, because if they are not working, then you are taking up all the thing of not putting them into unemployment, then things get bad in a way. But then also a lot of other factors are there which people don't think of, with the adjustments, with the kind of thing that when you move to a new country, it is highly like, I have friends who live in Canada or even Australia. Friends who lived in Australia, they come once in 3 or 4 years to India,
Yeah.
because they don't
Correct.
want to, because it's, first of all, it's expensive. It takes at least 24 hours, or not at least 24 hours, it takes around 24 hours for you to reach from Australia to India, or from Canada to India. And
Oh,
that is a
correct. Also,
very big thing.
it's your hard earned vacation time, and you will be putting a fair amount of like 1 or 2 days out of that 2 to 3 weeks. It's not more than 3 weeks. I have not seen, either you are working from home in India for your company,
Yeah,
but your vacation is 3 weeks. So in that you spend like 1 to 2 days in jet lag also.
yeah,
That
yeah,
also happens, and then you come, it's expensive as well. So many
yeah,
people can't do that, they just don't
yeah,
come. Then
yeah,
you have to consider that, because then if your reason for transitioning from sailing to shore was to stay and attend your family in India, this one you won't be able to do, because later on with kid and all, it will become a complicated structure to be able to travel every year. Or else you don't, you just quit, think about
yeah,
like, okay, this is a I have to factor in this India trip every
yeah,
year. Like
yeah,
you, it's mandatory, I have to
yeah,
do that. So then you
yeah,
have to plan like that, that
yeah,
one should really think like, if you are doing signing up for this, or otherwise even India is changing, a lot of things are changing. Okay, a lot of things are not changing, a lot of things are changing as well in maritime. So that also
yeah,
can be a good option if you are not after going abroad. But everything has its own merits and demerits. Some
yes,
people
big,
go, and then yeah, but definitely a lot of families don't, they even they feel like every festival, every day they miss their family. But that's a fact that really happens, but they don't get to come over here for like, if not 3 4 years, but couple of years. Every couple of years they get once a chance,
yeah,
because in that couple of years they also want to explore other countries, like for vacation.
correct,
They want to keep their
yes,
vacation for that. So how will you be able to do both of them with the kid and schooling and matching the dates for your spouse, their vacation, your vacation? It becomes really tough,
yeah, yeah.
and you are paying the
Also, it
bills at
is,
the same time.
yeah, yeah, and it is always much easier to bring your family from India to here rather than you planning here everything
Yeah,
and going back. That
correct.
is always much more convenient, which I've seen that people just
Absolutely
call them,
correct.
and that's a much better way of,
Like
if you want to actually do it.
if your reason for transitioning should be clear. Quitting sailing is not something very uncommon nowadays. Lot of seafarers, due to the stagnancy in the wages at sea, it has they have not caught up. They are not matching with the inflation now, since like decades now. So a lot of people don't find the charm of that money, because even at the land you can get, if not amount that much amount, but you get all the 12 months your salary. you are getting it all the 12 months. On board, you just get paid for whatever time you spend on board. So that's a big turn off. A lot of young sailors, young seafarers are transitioning to different better roles here and there. So I think one should be clear with what's your reason for transition. If your reason is to stay home, homely environment and all that, then you should transition, definitely transition to India.
Yeah.
If your reason is to explore and unlearn and explore more, what's further your entire journey, you want to make it more exciting, then definitely for few years go to any country, any abroad. It can be Japan also, because I also I'm interested in immigration and what kind of visas which country offers. I keep
Yeah.
exploring, I keep studying
Yeah.
and researching. So Japan also is now open for India. Lot of young people, because they have got a shrinking population, aging population, different kind of developed world problems they have. So they want people from developing country, young people. So
Yeah.
good option.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, also I got my citizenship. So now I'm Canadian Indian now. So that also was a good mark, a good journey, and it's
Yeah.
forever now.
Yeah. Because
So
people don't realize that, it's not against your patriotism. It is just that if your job involves a lot of traveling, then having a, Western country passport helps and opens doors
it
where you don't
really
have to
really helps.
get visas. You just
And
have
even
to,
Indian government is not against having a different
yeah.
visa. You can
Yeah.
apply for OCI.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's another passport you have.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
passport. Only thing you can't vote and all that.
Yeah.
That's why it's a
And get an
OCI. But
agricultural land in India.
yeah, that
That's the
all
only
that.
thing.
But
You can inherit that from your family if they already have, but you cannot buy, or rest all other things remain the same. So I don't think
remain the
there is a
same. Yeah.
problem
So
for that.
you can apply and have it and keep it forever. I have an appointment next month, so I'm applying for OCI. So but one should be clear with their reason for transitioning.
Yeah.
Singapore, Dubai, lot of seafarers are transitioning there also. I don't know if you get some more requests from people, like if they want to know more about Singapore and Dubai, we can
Yeah.
do another session and
Yeah.
comparison
Yeah.
if people are interested in that. But today,
Yes.
like we covered Australia a lot, like the major part was Australia. So Australia also is a good country. But what
Yeah.
Dubai and Singapore bring is
Yeah.
proximity to your
Yeah.
country, your India.
Yes.
So people can
Yeah.
travel a lot.
Yeah.
They don't have to
Yeah.
think that much
Yeah.
about vacation and all that. Even during the weekends, like right now, a lot of people come from Dubai to India
Yeah.
because it's
Yes.
Diwali time. So somebody who is in Canada won't even think about it. Like just because it's festival, so let's go to India. So Dubai brings also that kind of things.
Yeah. Also, Dubai is exploding with maritime opportunities right now, with the main businesses being set up in Dubai, many maritime tech companies and entrepreneurship happening over there. A lot of roles are also opening up, especially for junior officers. I think it is a good market as well, and especially
Yeah,
with the benefits like no
it's
tax
very
and
good.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chartering, especially chartering,
Yes.
commercial. I did one of the, like just for my own development, professional development, I did commercial shipping course. So got to
Yeah.
know like the commercial shipping side of it, commercial aspect of it, charter parties and all that. So companies are having their offices set up over there. They manage ships over there because of its location, time zone, and proximity to the rest of the world. It's like center point. So,
So
and also their policies,
yeah.
very friendly policies.
Yes. Also, it is also like, let's say, if we want to put in a way, there is a seafarer today who is thinking of moving ashore. First of all, it is very important that you need to be clear in your head. Why do you want to transition ashore? What are your reasons to transition ashore? Secondly, let's say, how does a person get to know these reasons? Is there a, let's say, self introspection has to be done, but what kind of questions do I need to ask myself when I'm thinking of making this transition? Let's say, some, because everyone tells this, you need to find your why do you want to move ashore, but then in order to find the why, there must be some questions which I need to ask. So do you have such questions? Because let's say someone listens to this and they, okay, so these are the questions, let me think of these and answer them. So do you have such questions which you thought and you think can help someone?
Yeah, Of course, like 5 to 10 years horizon, look what kind of life you want after transition. Not 5, but 10 years. So your why can be closer to family, but you also have to think about yourself and your like coming generation and all that. What kind of life you want to give them, and then work backwards from there. So everything will align. If you want to give like family values and all that, and very close knit kind of a culture, staying abroad from your rest of the family won't like solve that purpose. If you want to see yourself in a fancy car, let's say alone, with your just your kid and your wife, or if not that, in a good environment, like in a clean environment, and what the abroad lifestyle gives you, clean environment is also there in India. If you have a certain amount of income, lot of problems whatever there are in India, they are not for you. They are there, but they are not for you. So you can have a decent lifestyle here also, and also in like Norway, you can say, like Norway also you can have. So that also, and Australia also you can have it. So depends what you want from your 10-year mark. If you are like 10 years down the line, what you want from your life, from your profession, and then work backwards. So that would be one, that question. And then obviously your why. Like, do you want to sail more, or would you 5 years down the line think of going back to sailing or thing like that? And that also should be the question. You should not get that question once you have made up your mind. Then yeah, as far as industry is concerned, the good part is there are a lot of roles coming up which are entertaining junior officers. So transitioning is not a very uncommon thing anymore. So that is not a problem, but one should have their own reason, because sailing brings different things and tax free salary and all that. But is it worth it? Some people,
Yeah.
for some people, it is worth it. It makes sense. But for some people, it doesn't. If it doesn't, then you should transition. So that, and many people just transition because nowadays industries are opening up,
Yeah.
like new roles, optimization, monitoring, decarbonization, the whole thing, the Vision 2050. So a lot of new roles coming up. So if you are okay with that, one should definitely look at transition. And also family. One should talk to their family before doing that.
Yes.
Like if you're doing that transition, one should talk. Some I have seen very like a polarity in this kind of question. Some families are really willing to support you. Like, okay, please come. We were telling you from so many years, or this that. I met a lot of people, some second officers, like they said, like the moment we took the decision, the entire family was ready to support. Like, okay, we are there to support you. Just quit, come back. Some families, they are exactly the opposite. Like, why do you want to quit? Why do you want to? If especially if you are coming from a defense or sailing background in your family, they won't don't support that. They just say just keep sailing or whatever. And some people, there is another category who like it. Like they don't find themselves fit in some other jobs. They like it.
Yes.
They like that
Yeah.
pattern
Yeah.
of 6 on, 6 off, 6 months on, off, and they like the work, like authority, and one day they can become captain. So it's good for them. It's really good. There is nothing, no harm in that.
Yeah.
But if you want to transition and you are just dragging, then it's a mismatch. One should do the transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is what I've heard from most of the people, that if you are thinking of transition, the later you push it, the more difficult it is going to be. When you have realized that you want to move ashore, start thinking of how soon can I do it? And then
Yes.
start asking yourself the questions of, is my family going to be supportive? How much debt I have incurred in these years with the liabilities which I would have picked up? Is it possible for me to sustain with all these things? How my overall lifestyle would change? Because let's say you might be the only earning member in your family, and your family depends on you to change the things which are currently there, and your decision is going to affect them very badly. So you need to think and factor in that as well. A lot of things go in the background which you need to be very clear about before making this decision, I believe. That
Yeah.
is one very important thing.
Very important thing. And also, like, financially, if we discuss about the financial part of it, on ship, you are earning, spending almost negligible. Like, only your shore leaves you go and spend. And even if you don't go to shore leave, then you don't spend anything. And you are spending in India. Your family is spending in India, you are earning on the ship in dollars. But if you go to make a transition, be prepared. You will be earning in dollars and spending in dollar, or earning in euros and spending in euros. So the saving component will be less. You will be more subjected and more exposed to lot of shopping, eating out, and all that, making friends. On ship, these things don't happen. You can't go to a cafe in the middle of the sea. So uh, ones who are people who are more into like the money part of it, they want to collect, and like for a decade or so, sailing can be a good option for them. Like, just putting light on that aspect, because they can save more tax free again. Wherever we stay, you are in Norway, in Canada, Australia, taxes are always there, right? And then you have to meet all your expenses and then you save. On ship, everything is paid off, like your food, accommodation, everything is there. You just make money, save, and some part of it you spend in India. If you are from a, let's say, a tier 2 city, expenses are not much, so one should think about that. If they want to really save at a good pace, sailing can be a good option still. Because moving abroad, people think that it is for money, but
Yeah,
it is not always that case. It is not always that case.
yeah,
Once you go,
true.
you have to earn, get a job. Then your biggest expense is your tax, government tax you pay to the government. Then your expenses, then you save. So it is not what it looks like. That also I would like to put some light,
Yeah,
like shed some light on that aspect, like
yeah,
of moving abroad. People
yeah,
think that it's all money.
yeah,
And then you have to also be prepared for, like, contingencies. Your company will not come to take care of. Company does pay for everything on board, but some emergency happens abroad or at home, you have to fly in, fly out, everything has to be
yeah,
paid. So I think the rate of saving money slows down if you transition from ship. But some people are okay with that, like, they don't feel that. Some people I have seen that they have quit sailing 2 3 years down the line. They start feeling that I have left so much of money on the table by leaving this, because I got tax free salary, and then they feel that urge of going on sailing. And then they go to the ship, can't complete their contract. Midway of the contract, they have to come back because it's been like 2 3 years now. So I had made up my mind, like, I don't want to keep making money from this. Do for 4 to 6 years, take whatever I can, and then go for study. That's why it's been more than 6 plus years. I don't feel like going to sailing anymore. But it is not like good or bad. One should know, like, where they want to draw the line, and
yeah,
is that the line for you or not?
yeah,
Because you draw the line and then you feel that that was not my line. I could have sailed more and this that. One should
yeah,
not feel that.
yeah,
I have
true.
seen at the airports a lot of sailors, they cry because they are done with it. Like, they just
Yeah,
a robot over there. It's
yeah,
risky. It's unsafe for the ship also. If you're not
yeah,
happy on the ship, it's not good. So one should know where to draw the line and
yeah,
then never look back.
yeah,
Yeah.
true,
Because
true.
if you, I don't know, when was your last contract? If I go on the ship now, I won't be able to finish my contract. I have to, like, even if I want to just finish it, I can't finish. I will have, because I'm used to now the land life. And this is
Yeah,
what I wanted. So that's why.
yeah, yeah, true, true. Yeah, there are so many things which can keep on going, because at the end of the day, it is what you want, the way you want it, and is it right for you? You can only find it when you start doing it. You cannot make, because on ship what happens is people make a lot of plans. By the time they sign off, they think, who is going to put in all this effort? Let's go back to sea after 2 to 3 months, spend all our money, and when they go back on board, it's the same cycle which repeats, which I feel, if you are really into moving ashore, make your plan, execute it, and then start thinking about what will happen. Don't always, you will not always get a roadmap of moving ashore. You have to take a leap of faith, and then only things will move forward for you, and things will move into. And
I,
looking into that, yeah,
I think only cadet is the rank. Cadet is only the position where you won't feel the pinch of, suffering a monetary loss. Otherwise, all the ranks, when you will transition ashore, you have to take the brunt of the storm. You have to bear that pain of losing, not losing, but not collecting money that's put on the table for you.
true,
If you would have saved
true,
more. So that
yeah,
question should not come, because third officer,
yes,
second officer, chief officer, and captain will feel more actually. There are
yeah,
many captains who come ashore, they are already 50 plus, they start at a one third of their salary, and then they don't feel like it, and then they go back to the ship again. And because every day it just, the difference between ship and, it becomes so much, like you said, that they don't feel like doing the land life 12 months anymore,
yeah,
when they can just work for 4 to 6 months and then make the three times of it. So
yes,
then
true,
they start feeling like that. And also, then there is also, you can't at land, there will be a boss who will tell you as a master to do something and scold you and shout on you, because you don't know everything and anything in the office. You are just new as a master. So I think, as per me, in today's world, transitioning as a master on shore is a big, it takes a big mental this thing preparation, because you are no more a master. You on the ship, you were a master, but now you have to listen to others. On the
yeah.
ship, it's different. You say it, people do it.
Especially with the emerging technologies and everything, you have to stay constantly updated. You need to keep on reinventing yourself after a few years so that you are relevant in the industry,
Yeah,
and you are there people. So it goes, and also it is at what age you decide to move ashore. I think that that is also very important. And as you rightly said, if you move as a cadet, it is the only time. But then as a cadet, for many people, let's say who are doing a BSc nautical science, for they have still have a degree, but a DNS cadet, they don't even have a degree. They have to complete their 18 months, give the
this thing,
exams,
and yeah,
and so that goes in that direction.
there are different
So
different stories. Like some cadet like just do sailing for 2 months, they just sign off from next port and then they never come back. They don't feel the pinch, or they don't get the feel of it. But people who have sailed for years, who got used to it, some of them just get used to it, some of them just switch ashore abroad, wherever.
yeah,
Many
true.
are in India doing new things. I met one second officer who is a marine lead in Odisha now.
Okay, yeah. I have seen that you are also now associated with Sea and Beyond as a consultant. So, what is that exactly like for someone who's listening then?
It's basically for Sea and Beyond is a very good initiative for people who want to experience shore life before transitioning into shore life. So it really helps. They have got different capsule courses, big longer courses to experience. Sign up. Some are in person, some are online. You get to talk to people. So they are also having a different stream of consulting. They have got a panel of experts who, like, it's a paid consulting. You book a call and then they will give you consultation about what pathway you can take and what kind of a personality you are, and what should be a good option for you. Nobody decides for you. You just give a consultation and people decide on their own. But at least they get some clarity. So it's basically all about getting clarity before quitting sailing. So I give consultations over there, and I'm on the panel. And what areas we covered today, it is exactly that, because that's
Okay,
my like specialization, because it's like been
yeah,
there, done that kind of thing.
yeah,
So I am better equipped
yeah,
comparatively to give a good consultation on that. There are many other masters, senior chief officer masters, who give consultation on different other areas. About some are from commercial side, so they uh, share their experiences and they let others step into their boots, like what is commercial aspect of shipping. I give consultation about moving abroad as a sailor,
okay,
as an ex
okay,
seafarer,
okay,
different areas. Yeah.
yeah, true. So, do you have any final tips for anyone who's listening, which you would like to give them?
Final tips. Just whatever we discussed, it was really good, in-depth session. People should look at it, feel it, experience it, listen it, not just hear it. They should listen it carefully. And everything what we covered is really, it encompasses everything about transitioning ashore and shore life. And also there are many exciting opportunities coming up. So that's what I would like to tell all the viewers, that they should take an informed decision. Between their contracts, they should try to live the life of a landlubber, land people, land jobs, and then take the call. Like, because not everybody is happy after switching ashore. I feel good. I am happy, contented, very satisfied where I am, but not everybody. So that's why
Yeah,
this important decision is
yeah,
to be
yeah.
taken.
It
Everybody's
is.
factors are different. Family opinion is different. And then there should not be any self doubt later on. That's what the important takeaway, or we can call a tip from this session. So that's the most important tip.
Yeah.
And I also
Yes.
learned something about Norway. So thanks for that.
Yes.
Someday,
Okay.
if we come to Norway, we'll go out for
Sure.
dinner
Sure.
for
Sure. You
sure.
can always come and stay here. That's always
Definitely.
open.
Thank you
Yes,
so
but
much.
that's very true. That anyone who's thinking to move abroad, especially because I have had many batchmates who are thinking of moving to Australia or Canada, and they were always wondering, how do we get to know this? How do we get to know about the culture? And especially being a mariner, it is very difficult to gain sources because all the information which is out there available is for IT industry people or very different skill set kind of people.
Yes, correct.
Our skill set people, it's very difficult to find anyone who can consult you on the
Absolutely.
kind of jobs, and who have done it, they did it very early, who 20-30 years ago, which has become obsolete now, which is not going to work in
It
current
is
environment.
it is such a specific and such a limited field
Yes.
that going into merchant navy is also a lack of information. People just take GP rating or DNS or
Yeah.
BSc and they just go. Not
True.
much content on YouTube. Now it is picking
Yeah.
up, but
Yeah.
not at that space like IT and all. Its IT is really big. And so going in, getting into merchant navy also is lacks information, and getting out of merchant navy also lacks information. So all this information would help. This kind of session would help people to make a informed decision,
Yeah.
having
Yes.
all the information and all the facts
Yes.
about
Yes.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very important. And once again, thank you very much for doing this. And hopefully, people who are thinking of moving abroad get some idea about making a well informed decision and think about their decision before taking any steps further.